putting the spotlight on local businesses in the capital city. This is 402 Business Insider with Travis Filing and Gary Tharnish on 1499.3 KLIN.
And good morning, Lincoln. Travis Filing, Gary Tharnish. Just have a short one for us today because got a basketball game coming up.
Yeah, here we go.
It's basketball season already.
That's right. It comes so quick, doesn't it?
It's just been kind of flying past.
I know. When I heard them say that in here, I'm like, wait, basketball? Wait, it's October. But yeah it comes quickly.
Yeah, I know. I forgot the football game was last night. And so then I'm like, okay, well, we'll be doing this whole show today, and then it's like, oh no, basketball. Time for basketball.
It's going to be a 30.
So it'll be a 30, but tomorrow at 10:30, we're going to be talking with John Olson and Nick Steinke, who are with Olson, the engineering firm. Yep. So that should be a pretty interesting conversation.
Yeah, that's going to be a good one.
I've been so impressed because they have exploded size-wise. They are all over.
Nationwide, and I think if I'm correct, it started with his father just here in Lincoln driving around to small communities going, can I help this village and you need to build a bridge or something, and now look where it is. It's amazing.
Yeah, and I was in Chicago or going through Chicago for a Browns game. I saw one of their banners hanging up in the Midway Airport. So hopefully they're going to totally redo that airport because I am not a fan.
I'm sorry,
of
you
Chicago
said
Midway.
You're going to a Browns game?
I know.
Is there?
I went to one, and then I'm going to one. I'll be.
There's a better way to waste your time.
Oh my God.
Just giving you a hard time.
There's a better way to waste your time and money.
I hope they're in the Super Bowl one of these days, brother, because you've been consistent.
You can't call us fair weather fans.
No.
Because it has been raining for 50 years.
I know. What's going on? Someday.
Well, we thought we'd just do another quick business lesson in the news. And,
Definitely.
I was just reading through an article. We all see these statistics of how many businesses fail in the first year and how many fail in the second year and so on and so forth. And it's kind of that nails in the chalkboard for me because, like I was reading through, it says 45%, this is the new stat, 45% of businesses fail in the first year, 50% fail between years 2 and 5, and 65% fail in the first 10 years. Okay, great. How about why?
Well, and when you think of that, so what was it, 45% in the first year? So in that second year, we've already lost 50%. So of the 50% remaining, another almost 50%. All of them close in the next 2 to 5 years. So you got some more openings. So there's just an influx of new out, and it's difficult for a business to last that long. It was not easy for me to last 38 years.
Oh, gosh, no.
I'll tell you that.
It's still a struggle for us, sometimes.
Yep.
And I appreciate the X amount of businesses fail, but how about helping out new entrepreneurs and telling them why businesses fail? It's kind of like standing in front of this field and go, the last guy walked into this field, had a leg blown off okay, great. Why don't you tell me which way he walked so I don't do the same thing? Well, help me.
And another thing I was thinking about when I was reading this, doing some prep yesterday, is I thought, another thing is it's getting better with the leadership courses that you can take at UNL now and in some high school classes and everything. But I just met a new person that has been hired on with a company I'm currently working with a little bit here. And in meeting the person, I thought, wow, you'd think they'd have 20 years of experience. Then I dove into it a little bit, and I thought, this is a classic that I see a lot, and I describe it, the wanting to skip all the stairs. So in order to be successful, in my opinion, you have to walk up these steps to get to the peak where you want to be. I think a lot of people go and start a business, and they think, I want to be here. I want to be building big buildings in Denver. I want to be handling the marketing for international companies. Your big, hairy goals, sometimes they're great to have, right?
Mm-hmm.
They're great to have.
Yeah.
But so many people take that, and that's what they start their business with.
Right.
It's like you got to do the dirty work, the hard work, the work ethic stuff to get up to the point where you can do that. I think that's just one of many challenges.
Yeah, I've loved Ed Nix, old friend of mine. He always said, when you start out a business, you're on the teeter-totter, right? You get some work, you do some work. You get some work, you do some work. And you're going to be in that for quite some time.
Yes.
And then the next stage is you're a fireman on the merry-go-round. You're going in circles and putting out fires. You're going in circles and putting out fires. That's part of business. That's part of getting there. Yeah, it's wonderful to go, yeah, I hope my marketing firm handles Coca-Cola one day.
Yeah.
But I'm still not there, and I'm 26 years into it.
Right. And this person I was researching, as I watched on their Facebook, you can just get a lot from Facebook, if they're on there a lot. And this person happened to be on there a lot. He's in the age generation. Well, it is not an age thing. But anyway, as I'm listening, I went, okay, so you started a business that did not last a year because you had to scale really, really quick because you were selling everything that essentially really was unavailable to your people because you didn't have the staff, you didn't have everything you needed to make that work.
Right.
Other than your mind saying, I can do everything. And so everything fell apart.
Yeah.
That and investment money.
Yeah.
You got to have some money.
Well, the first thing on my list of why businesses fail is cash flow. I mean, cash flow is when you hang out your shingle, here's the thing. You're going to be losing money probably for a while.
Correct.
Because you have to pay yourself. Or hopefully you've saved enough money that you can live off of that, which is essentially paying yourself. That is step one. And as I started laying these out, I thought, man, we could do probably a whole series of business lessons in the news based off of each failure that of why businesses fail
Easily.
So yeah, cash flow is a big one. Do you have 6 to 12 months worth of runway laid out in front of you? Because it may take a while to get this bird off the ground. So you have to be prepared for that. Market need. Is there a market need for your business or for your concept?
Right. Competition. So many people don't think about competition. It's the same in home sales.
Yeah.
I mean, with Home Design Real Estate Group, we talk about it all the time. What's your competition? You can go through this house and go, this is what it should be worth. I think it'll sell for this. But what are the other $600,000 houses on the market right now? What do they look like compared to yours? When I'm doing my listing presentations, I use that a lot with people. You need to know your competition. So right now, if you're going to open a marketing company, say, for example, Lincoln, who's out there right now?
Right.
How are they doing? Are they struggling? Is there a need for a whole lot more? Or what's going to differentiate you? What is your niche that could make something different? And then you're going to be up against somebody walking in going, hey, I'm so-and-so with this company, and I've been around 20 years, and they know you already. And you're walking in and going, hey, I'm, John Doe, and I just, with this company that no one's heard of, what's your track record? Don't have one. You know, so on and so forth. It's tough. There's so much to know.
And it's okay to go into those businesses, even if the market is oversaturated, but you at least need to know that and plan for that going in, because that means you're going to need more runway. Right. When we did all the marketing for Papa John's here in the Midwest,
I remember that.
Yeah, one stat that just was unbelievable to me is of all the markets, and you think Midwest, it's a pretty big footprint.
Oh, sure.
Lincoln, Nebraska, per capita, has more pizza restaurants than anywhere else in the country.
You're kidding.
Yeah. Isn't that crazy?
That is crazy.
So let's say you want to open up a pizza business. Okay. Well, you better know how oversaturated this market is in the pizza business. Yeah. And now you got to start thinking on one side, you have to go, okay, well, there's Domino's and there's Valentino's and there's Papa John's and Pizza Hut and all these other places.
On and on and on.
And then you have to think about the mom and pop type shops, that one store that might make a killer pie like Momo's or Paisanos. Mm-hmm. Right. So, okay. So now there's obviously a need and a want for the product because we have more pizza restaurants per capita.
Right.
So people want it.
Yeah.
How are you going to stand out? And how long is it going to take you to get to that point? That's another reason why businesses fail, is because they just don't sit there and do all that market research.
Well, and then there's businesses that need more of everything. Housing is one of them, right? We need so many more houses. So you have builders pop in, right? And they can scale very quickly because lots of people need houses. If you're doing it right, you can do that. However, what do you have involved with that? You have to have good quality subs. They need to be loyal to you. Good luck. That's a big challenge. So suddenly sales isn't your problem. You can have 12 houses to build, but all of a sudden you don't have the people to do that. You don't have the subs. You're going to need some staff, so you hire staff. What's that entail? Federal payroll taxes, which you have to match, Medicare, FICA, all of that stuff. It just adds up in a business where you don't get the $700,000 for the house up front. Right?
Yeah.
And you have expenses going on. There's so many different things and things that have to be planned. And oftentimes, a lot of them you're not aware of until you're getting into it.
Yeah.
And that's where that 6 months to 12 months of, hey, I've got to have all my personal expenses covered for 12 months, really, minimum, if you can.
Yeah.
Or you need, and then there's investors that'll back you. That's a real tricky situation. They're your silent partner. They're silent until what?
Yeah.
The check doesn't come in.
Exactly.
Then they're loud.
Exactly.
You know? I mean,
well, and the other thing that people never tell you when you started, this was the surprise to me to a degree, is even for us, and we're a sole proprietor, we have a partner, and that partner is the U.S. government.
Yep.
And that partner is going to put very little into your business, and they're going to take out a lot.
A ton.
I remember when we were running payroll the first time, paying ourselves.
Yeah.
And then you go, okay, well, I have to pay, my income tax and all that other stuff. And then I was stunned to find out that I also had to match it as the employer.
Right.
And I'm talk about losing my mind.
Yes.
Wait a minute, that's double taxation.
Yeah.
Yes, it is.
Yeah.
And write the check because the government ain't going to talk to you about it.
Yeah. And, I would explain that to my employees a lot because very, very few employees to this day really understand that.
Yeah.
It's like I remember, especially a new employee, will go, wow, like my check was $400, but I only got, $298. Like the government takes a lot of money. I go, not only that, but I had to match $78 of that. Oh, plus I also had to put money in an unemployment fund for you in case you quit someday and need money. And I had, it goes on and on and on. And they're not aware of that, and they're like, what do you mean? And I go, well, that Medicare and FICA that was taken out of your check, I take it out of your check and pay it in. And when I pay it in, I have the joy of matching it. So doubling it.
Yeah.
So you're going to take more out of my check? No. That comes out of my wallet.
That comes out of my check.
That comes out of my wallet.
Yes.
That's what I was telling because I was sole proprietor at the time.
Oh, yeah.
But anyway, it's all those things you don't think about. There's just a lot involved.
Yeah, I remember we had an employee, this was years and years ago, who wanted it was like a 60% raise. She went to Shannon and said, I deserve this money. And Shannon's like, okay, well, you may deserve it. We don't have it.
Right.
And one of her gripes, she goes, do you have any idea how much money I pay in taxes? And Shannon goes, yeah. Because I have to match your taxes, and I have to match Lacey's taxes and April's taxes and Travis's taxes, and you're right. So
on and on and on.
You take a look at your little tax bill; it's a little tax bill, and that's something else people don't take into consideration. So customer feedback, location; these are all reasons why businesses fail, and I think maybe we have a break coming up here. We'll run to that, but. We should maybe kick around doing a handful of these just as business lessons in general.
Yeah.
So when we come back, we have we kind of put together a little checklist for you. Before you hang your shingle, look at that. There goes my timer. So before you hang out your shingle, we have a checklist. We're going to cover that right after this. Abbreviated version of the 402 Business Insider. Travis Filing with Transformation Marketing. Gary Tharnish with Home Design Real Estate Group. And we're talking about why businesses fail. And we talked about the reasons why they fail. Not how many of them. We talked about that, but why they fail. And now we're going to go over a little checklist that we put together for you before you hang out your shingle. And the first thing you need to do is validate your demand. So when you have an idea, I make the best whatever. Are there people that want what's the nasty fish that people like bury in the ground? Lutefisk, right?
Yeah.
Right. Yes.
Oh.
Let's say you make the best lutefisk in the world. I don't know if I'm saying that right, but you know what I'm talking about. It's like nasty fermented fish. And let's say you do make the best in the world. Is there a demand for it?
Well, not in Lincoln, Nebraska.
Probably
or
not.
Anywhere in the United States, probably.
Right? You've got to go out and you have to start asking people. Don't ask your mom because it's probably her recipe. Don't ask your friends because they may not give you honest feedback. You need to go out, whatever your product or service is, you need to go out and you need to determine whether or not there is an actual want or a need for this product.
Here's another thing I see a lot of with new business owners. I opened my business because a business that was servicing me that I had that need for was horrible. And I thought, Lincoln needs better. And then they get into the business and they're like, oh, you kind of aren't the best either. It's interesting all the different reasons people start a business.
Well, the way I thought you were going to go with that is the business that serviced me went out of business. I mean, I'll bet you that happens a lot.
Yeah, like what, 50% of the time 50% was it? I think that's going to happen. Yeah. It's crazy. Yeah, there's a lot involved. And I think the other thing is think about asking for a lot of help and advice before you do it. I've heard people that I've actually talked to some business owners that are struggling, and I'd be like, so when you started, what type of market analysis did you do? I really didn't, because I didn't want people to know I was coming into Lincoln, and I didn't want all my competitors to know. Okay, well, guess what they know now?
Right.
You have no cash flow and you're struggling,
right.
and the food company that delivers food to them isn't delivering to you anymore because you're COD and you don't have the money. There's so many things involved.
Well, and let's say that's the case. You don't want to let your competitors know. Let's pretend that there are more cities in the country than Lincoln. Maybe you could call somebody down in Alabama.
There
right?
you go.
I mean, there's ways around this.
Like Alvo.
Yeah, that's right.
There's
Go
a
down
big
to
one.
Alvo. Go down to the thriving metropolis.
Okay, everybody
of
in Alvo, we love you. I'm just joking.
Does our signal make it to Alvo? I don't know.
Yeah, I was there the other day.
I go through there all the time.
It does. But. There's just so much truth to that. There's a lot to think about when you're starting a business, but I think the foundational parts are most important.
Yes.
Having the money, such a big deal, because you've got to get through those tough months when you first start. I mean, a lot of businesses are going to fail because of that. Huge expectations. I mean, honestly, put your expectations at zero, fund it at zero, so you're prepared. Because when you have the expectations that, hey, I'm going to get from letter A to letter Z really quick,
right.
may not happen, or it may happen and you're not prepared for it.
Yeah.
I mean, there's so many things that are important.
Well, that was number 2 on the list, is stress test your finances.
There you go.
I mean, you need to sit there and you need to lay out because when you're putting a business plan together, it's all Skittles and rainbows, right? You go, oh my gosh, sales are going to be this, and they could hit this, and they could hit. What if they were 0 for one particular month? Sure. And if you don't think it can happen, let me tell you a little about COVID and owning a marketing firm, as other businesses out there felt the same thing, a flower shop and whatever else. Sales could be 0.
I mean, for COVID, there were restaurants that had been around 20 years that went out of business.
Yeah.
There had been tons of businesses that had legacy, that went out of business. I mean, you never know what's going to hit. That's kind of, one thing that, may happen again. I mean, who knows?
It may, but
the preparation is so important. And also protect your personal assets.
Yeah.
A lot of people go into business and they do it as a sole proprietor without really knowing what that actually means.
Yeah.
Which means the business come after you personally. Now on an S corp or whatever. I mean, I'm not consult a tax expert. Don't take my advice for it. I'm just giving you the practical bit of it. But it's so you see that a lot where people just aren't prepared for what comes down the road, and all of a sudden they're out of business and they were a sole proprietor and now they're going to lose their house because of. I mean, I just sold a house in that exact situation.
Yeah.
For clients of mine that were looking for a home, that the home has to be sold because they use it for collateral for their business. Their business went under. They're losing their home. They were sole proprietors. Yeah, it's tough, but you see it quite often.
Yes, you do. Yeah, you have to really gauge what the downside is, and you need to prepare for it.
Yeah, definitely.
Because the odds are 50% chance make or break in the first year.
Yeah.
And if you're not preparing for it, you're going to be that half that fails.
The next thing you had listed on here that we'd been talking about is your differentiation. That's a tough word for me. So many syllables. But how are you different? What's your niche and what's going to make it different? And then is it tested? I mean, it's one thing to say, okay, we have more pizza restaurants per capita than anybody else in the Midwest. But you have this pizza that's fantastic. Fantastic according to who? Mom, your brother, your sister, and your kids? Maybe they're just glad you made dinner. So does everybody else like that? I've got something different here. And then what are your unexpected expenses that pop up? Because there's a lot of them, right?
Yeah.
So I'm going to do delivery. Okay, the delivery guy leaves with 12 pizzas, and all of a sudden 8 of the people are calling, where's your delivery guy? He just said I didn't want to work anymore, and he's done. Pizzas, or who knows where the pizzas
Right.
are. I mean, stuff happens, and you have expenses like that. Complaints, how are you going to handle that? They happen, right? So you're going to refund. You start refunding. What's that look like? I mean, you got to stay on top of the data, the numbers, the figures, along with everything else.
Well, and on the differentiating idea, what is, let's say it is a pizza restaurant and Domino's does it in 30 minutes or less. I don't think they do that anymore, but let's say it is.
No, because they got sued.
Yeah. And so let's say your differentiating idea is we'll get it there in 27 minutes. Okay, well, that makes you different, but is there enough of a demand to make somebody change their habit? Or so
Exactly.
if it's a minuscule differentiating idea, that's probably not good enough to make your business successful.
Yeah. And their pizza's good. Well, so's yours, and so's the next guy's. And so what is
and so
the
are tombstones, and you know.
Yeah, and that's a tough question. I've asked that in many business seminars I've done when I was in the floral industry, and I'd go talk at wholesale houses to a lot of business owners, right? So there might be 200, retail florists out there, owners, And I would say, talk to me afterwards during the break or during our lunch. I want to hear how you are different from other flower shops. And that would just nail people. They'd be like, well, like
Right.
what really is,
it?
because it does matter. I mean, there's got to be a reason why you and not the other guy.
Yeah. And, another thing that you have to do that's on our checklist here is plan your visibility and marketing from day one.
Right.
Now, I know it's easy for me to go, you need to have a good marketing plan because I own a marketing firm. But let me tell you something. You need to have a good marketing plan.
Well,
because visibility is not enough.
And I'm going to tell you from my experience, and I see it in the industry I'm in now, in real estate. When going gets tough, the number one thing people are going to cut is their marketing.
Yeah.
It's the number one thing you should not cut.
Not ever cut.
And again, you have to be prepared for that. That comes back to having the money to invest, having some money set aside so you can do that. Asking for help when you need it.
Yes, that's a big one.
One of the things I read on here, your gut, make a gut decision. Here we go. You make decisions on gut rather than evidence.
Yeah.
That is a big one. You're stressed out. Somebody calls, hey, I'm trying to put together this blank and I don't have whatever for it. And, well, can you just turn the piece around and make it look? Nobody's going to know or nobody's going to see it or whatever. And then suddenly now you're cutting corners because you're making quick decisions because you're unprepared. There's actually, I know some case where that just happened recently. And it really was because of scaling too fast. Mm-hmm. Really?
Yeah, that shooting star.
Yep.
I mean, we've seen those shooting stars happen.
Yep.
You scale fast, but you're trying to keep up with the business, and that's good.
Yeah.
But you have to be very, very careful because if you scale up too fast to meet a demand, and if that demand tapers off, now you're top heavy, and you may capsize.
Yeah.
And I've seen a lot of people in that shooting star scenario because you fizzle out quick, then you're in more trouble than you think. Sometimes, and I'm not saying this is a generic statement, sometimes it's easier to walk away from business than trying to scale up quick and lose control of what you're trying to do.
That's right. That's right.
So,
I ran into a person that we interviewed and was chatting with them recently, and they had just opened and started a business, and the going is tough. And in my opinion, as I said, it's easy to be armchair quarterback, right?
Yeah.
But in my position, I'm thinking, you know what? One of the things is that you thought your clientele were prepared and wanted this great, big, new, wonderful change thing, and they weren't. What they wanted was just better of the same. They wanted the same old, just delivered better.
Yeah.
And in the chat conversation, that's what it came to. It's like, I did too much here.
Well, that's it for us. That was our little 30-minute segment. Stay tuned for the Husker basketball game. And like I said, tomorrow at 10:30, John Olson, Nick Steinke from Olson. We're going to be talking with them at 10:30. We'll see you tomorrow.
Go Big Red.